Today we are going to talk about a subject which to many sounds quite complicated, but we are going to do it in a way which is simplifying, and it can be grasped without too many complications. Now, most of you who are into Eastern thought, and not only Eastern thought, but also into very early Christian thought and groups and denominations, like the Gnostics and the Marcionites, which were, as I said, very, very large groups, are interested and have heard a lot about the concept of self. You know, what is our true self? That self that gives us life, that self through which we vibrate. What is it? Is it our mind? Is it our history? Or is it something deeper than that? Where the confusion arises is because on one side you have schools of Buddhism that tell you that there is no self, and that enlightenment is actually to realize that there is not a center that I can call an I. Most unfortunately, I've seen with many Buddhists that leads to think that nirvana is almost like dying, disappearing, is like having an anesthetic before an injection, or they call it a deep slumber, deep sleep. But remember that in, for example, in Vedanta, there is the awakened state, the dreaming state, and the deep sleep, but then there is the Turiya state, there is an awakened state. So, yes, it can have for some, when not understood, a very, what comes across as a rather negative connotation. Because I don't reincarnate anymore, I think I can really just die and disappear under the ground. Wow, what bliss, what liberation, eh? No thanks. And on the other side, where with the people that believe, no, there is a self, have to realize, I am not this body, I'm not this, I am the self, pure light, pure being, pure bliss. Sometimes the problem arises that that concept of that divine self, which is our true nature, is very much tainted by our ego, by our I. And in that sense, Buddha was quite good, because once, you know, he gave a talk and he said in the traps that occur when you are advancing spiritually, you achieve something, a first stage, and the ego, the I goes, aha, look how good I am. Then he understands, oh, you know, there is some ego there. So the seeker goes further. He goes further, but then he achieves something else, and then he becomes proud about that. And again, the ego is recreated, and so forth. As we advance, the ego, the I, comes back again to get hold of us. So what he's basically saying, when this I, this pride, this me, you know, that even follows you all the way, when that drops, then you can see reality for what it is, because it's not condensed like in a camera lens that you screw the opposite way. It's not condensed like that, but you can see with the Buddha mind. So in that sense, one can understand a concept of no self, which is not that you die, but it is a concept that, yeah, the only thing that dies is your separation from reality, from your true nature, from your true being. You know, is the understanding, these eyes that grasps that grasps onto greed, onto hatred, into delusion, that I releases, it goes. That is the fire that is put off. So there is not anymore continuously this becoming and this fighting against this and against that, but there is that inner peace and equanimity that we know this is where my true nature is. So if we can see the importance of sometimes of letting go, so what we are letting go really is our egotistic nature, which can go through so many levels and even pretend to be spiritual. And then it becomes a guru, and then it wants to draw people, and it wants to have money and power and so forth. So in that, I can walk along and say, yes, I can vibrate with that, I can understand it. So then we have that other side that says, when I understand that I'm not that which perishes, I think that everything revolves around my body. Is it good? Is it beautiful? Is it not? Everything revolves around what this body possesses, about, again, this me, which separates us, which makes us fight with everybody. Oh, what do you think? And we think that I am only just this person who is born somewhere, who has got money, who is more clever than others, who puts other people down, who gets his strength by going boom, 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 ha, look, that's where the ego gets its strength. So along the process, by letting go these steps, these stages, we can come to a point where we go, no, this is not who I am. There is a falling over of the illusion. And we know that, yes, we are a manifestation, we are a drop in the ocean. But when the separation of the drop that forgets its nature is dissolved, then suddenly there is that shining of pure presence, of that love and that peace and that understanding. But there is not an I, a me, claiming it. You see? So actually, getting close to this understanding should be a simplifying experience, a humbling experience, not an experience of, ooh, I am God. And that's where people, again, we said what people can go wrong with Buddhism, but now we see what people can also go wrong with Vedanta and the other Eastern approaches. That the I takes on a form of being so clever, so incredible, so enlightened. And it says, oh, come to me, I'm so enlightened. What, you mean I'm not enlightened? So when you're not following somebody else's path, and you can really take the blinkers from your eyes and just stand and look and not be frightened to be on your own, because we like to hold on to something, this belief, that belief, that belief. But we drop everything and we look at it, and we look at it with no ego, with no I, with no interest. This should be right, this should be wrong. I just look at it. Then you see that this differentiation somehow drops. And I can only share a little bit my intuition, my experience of it, whatever. So when this identification with the ego, meaning who sees things here, is this ego, this person. I am only Carlo, I am only a person who has done this, I'm only a person who is clever, is a person who has traveled a lot, and you don't agree with me, you are an idiot, and I'm so high. And if I'm not, if you say that I'm an idiot and I go down and I lose things and so forth, then I go into pieces. when we realize that we are the awareness in which that happens, and that awareness can go back home and just see itself for what it is, which is just pure being. And then that being gets filled with a great love, and then gets filled with a great silence. You know, where there are many videos I've spoken about these stages and this process. Then what happens? Yes, in that sense we are born again, because now we know who we truly are. We are born as another person, kind, so to speak. So the barrier of the ego drops. But I tell you, in my experience, the beautiful thing that happens. So, okay, I'm not these things that come and go. I'm not the fluctuating life. You see, I don't hold to things that don't really nurture me, but they keep me stuck in hatred and greed. You see? But once that is discovered, and one can rest in that love, then the I, it's beautiful. Yeah, I'm Carlo. You know, I'm conditioned very much from the things I've done. And I love who I am. You know why? Because I'm unique. I don't think there never was someone like me, and there never would be someone like me. And the same I'm saying about you. You who are looking at me this moment, you're unique. And that's amazing. So you can look at me, I can look at you, and we're understanding, looking, coming to know two really unique people, two diamonds, you see? But then there is a joy in being the I, because it's an I that when it goes to sleep and rests, it goes back through its true home. So it fills itself by the love, which is its essence. So in a sense, yes, you can say there is no self. Yes, there is a self, and then get stuck in your beliefs and never move on. Or you can let go of those beliefs at one certain point, because you realize that the belief is keeping you stuck. And you just look at it, you know, you look at it with sincerity, with calmness, with a feeling of you're being looked after. And then you begin to see, they were just looking from 2 points of view. But there is something which is beyond that, and there is something that has both of them in it. And then, yes, I am the one, which doesn't make me that special, because everything is the one. So what's special about it? You know? And within that, then there is this drop, which is just enjoying the ocean. And it's beautiful to be me. So it was just a misunderstanding, that's all. You know, we were just concentrating on something that made us think that we were that very thing we were looking at. And it just, we needed to turn things around a little bit and go, oh, I have a mirror. No, this is what I really am. But it's a journey. And as I said, you know, there are videos, I've put them in the description and so forth. You can learn a little bit more about that. So self, no self, it's all home.